This is another episode of Talks with Tyler ISD, a podcast about the passionate people who have a heart for students. This podcast is brought to you by Texas Bank and Trust. Thank you for joining us for Talks with Tyler ISD. I'm your host, Jennifer Hines, and we are so excited on this episode to have Angelica Brown, Ramey Elementary's new principal. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So how has it been at Ramey so far this year? Are you loving it?
I love it. I love the teachers and the families. We have a lot of staff members who were they're not former, they were their parents, and then they came on board, and so it's just a big community school, and I really enjoy it.
Sounds like one big family that you've got going on over there. Well, let's talk a little bit about your background. You have been with Tyler ISD for 12 years. Tell us what all you've done since you've been with Tyler ISD leading up to this leadership position in the principalship.
Yeah, so I taught at Hubbard Middle School for 5 years. I taught 7th and 8th grade math, and I loved it. And then most recently was at Jones Middle School as the assistant principal, and before that, master teacher, and then moved into this role. You've
really moved your way up. But this, I understand, is your second career.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about this. You kind of stuck your toe in the educational world when you were in college, I understand.
I did. So my last semester of college, I decided to sub for just extra money, and I loved it. And so I called home and I said, I'm going to be a teacher. And my mom said, you've changed your major 3 times. You better work in your field for a little bit.
Right.
And so I did. And, a few years, and I called her and I said, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So,
well, and just so others know, you did move up into leadership in your former career.
Yes.
So you are a natural born leader from what I can see on your career path. Well, I guess just those heartstrings pulled you right back into education.
They did, yes, absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Well, tell me a little bit about just kind of your leadership style now that you're in this role at Ramey. You're, in the principalship. You're guiding the school. How would you describe that for others?
Yeah, so for me, it's really personal. I have 3 kiddos in Tyler ISD at each level, at the elementary, middle school, and high school level.
Oh, wow. That's me next year.
Welcome.
Yeah.
But I lead with not only my children in mind, but other people's children in mind anytime I make a decision. And I like to lead with empathy, and I really believe in courageous conversations, and that, leadership our kindness is telling the truth even when it's not easy. And so really working through that, and it's not always easy, but that is my goal as a leader.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about the staff. Your staff, your teachers, what do you do to kind of motivate them, support them? How are things going on campus?
So my staff is wonderful. They have the attitude of we'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. So we like to celebrate wins. We like to celebrate mistakes. All the milestones along the way. I really believe in, if I ask you to do it, I would do it. I'll jump into a 5th grade math classroom if needed. I like to pull small groups. I love going to lunch duty and just talking with the kids, but anything it takes, and they motivate me to do what's needed to get the job done.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the kids.
Yes.
So tell me about how you love relating with the kids. Is there anything that you do in particular to kind of connect with them, or is it just kind of come naturally and as you make your way around the campus?
I think it's kind of both. I haven't this year, but my goal is always to know every kid's name. Building relationships is really important to me. Growing up until junior high, I moved around a lot. I went to a lot of different schools. And I just remember the feeling and knowing that ultimately kids just want to feel like they belong and that they're loved. And so I just remember that. They want to be seen. They want to know that their principal knows their name. Oh my goodness.
And
that, if they are in trouble, that, today, the next minute is a new minute, that I love them regardless. And so you can't hold grudges, and they have to know that you truly love them.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I love about the elementary school level is because they will just come right up to you and give you a hug and you don't even know them.
Yes.
I mean, or they might tell you something really crazy too. I love that part about
them. Like, are you tired today?
They're like, yes. But I do love that they are so loving and want to be loved on and supported. And that's just such a wonderful environment. Of course, it also takes the parents at home to make education a success for the student. Talk to us a little bit about your parent outreach and just kind of how you get them involved, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we are working on building our PTA back up. So we love parent volunteers. Anytime parents want to come on campus. I'm a parent first, and so I like parents to know that we're a team, and our common goal is that their child is successful, that they feel safe, and that they feel loved. If parents have any suggestions or input, I want to hear so that we can continue to make Ramey a place to grow and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And having them as a part of that is super important. I know right now, Ramey, y'all have some challenges that y'all are trying to overcome. Tell us a little bit about how you are tackling that head on with kind of your motto, your mission statement, your call to arms, so to speak.
So our motto is we work for the win, and so we do whatever it takes to excel. We have high expectations. We have morning meeting, and every Monday we have Leader in Me lessons where we talk to our kids about the different habits, and every month we Kona Ice partners with us, and they come out, and a student from every grade level gets recognized and gets a free Kona Ice. And
that's fun.
It's really fun.
Some motivation and inspiration. And of course, I love the Leader in Me program. That is a district-wide program based off of Franklin Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And what I love about it is that it really brings leadership to the youngest of who we serve all the way up to those seniors that are looking to graduate. And I know that y'all work on several of those pieces because that kind of fills the other side of the academic component for the whole child.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about some of the specific things y'all do at Ramey for Leader in Me.
Yeah, so we have campus jobs as well as classroom jobs, and so we have some morning greeters, and we have the beautification crew who helps clean up the courtyard, and they take it very seriously.
Yes, they do. You would be surprised.
We have some little librarians who help shelve books and tell us when books need to be repaired, and we also have a student behavior support specialist who also reinforces the Leader in Me habits and teaches, character traits through Leader in Me and mindfulness. And so we do a lot of things to incorporate Leader in Me.
Yeah, also making sure that social emotional piece is taken care of. That is really, really important. What is it that you have done kind of for that culture? You said high expectations. What are you doing to kind of create that culture of high expectations at Ramey?
So in the classroom, we have children set their own goals, and then we have a lot of goal meetings and ask, like, did you make the goal? And celebrating when they do. And then if they don't, asking, okay, well, what's our next step? And so kids take a lot of ownership, and when they're in on the goal, they're more likely to achieve it. But also including the parents. So we started new this year, we incorporated academic parent night. We had one in the fall, and where we just showed parents where their kiddo was compared to their class, and as well as the state, and what they were ready to learn. So not just like, oh, if your kid is behind, well, here's what they're ready to learn to kind of fill those gaps or enrich their learning.
I love that. So it's, you're not only getting the buy-in from the students on the leadership piece and them being a part of that decision-making process, but the parents are also kind of in this mix too, and the buy-in of what y'all are trying to do. And I think that's important. It's, you set your goals, you celebrate when you've made them, and then if you don't make them, okay, why didn't we meet this goal? And what do we need to do in order to meet it the next time? Because y'all set goals throughout the year, which I think is important. So they have multiple times.
Yes, and parents set goals. At the academic parent nights, they set goals for their kids. And
I love that.
So we'll meet again this spring, and we'll look at the goals that they set and if they achieved them and our next steps. So we're really excited about that.
Well, and I love that too, because it's a goal for the parent as well, because the parent sets some goals. And so again, it's that buy-in, and that does take all of that together to really make it work. And I love to hear that. So when y'all have those nights, do the kids and the parents kind of sit down and make goals together, or is this really the parents setting a goal?
It's both. So we invite the whole family. We have food, and then we have kiddos that are maybe younger families we have daycare. So in the gym we have movies playing and food and snacks, so that parents can really sit with their kid and give their full attention.
Yeah, full attention.
Right.
You're not worried about the toddler
Absolutely.
or the other one that might need to have something to do at that moment.
But it's good to see them collaborate together and have those conversations with their kid in the moment. So we absolutely want them to be together if possible.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We're going to switch gears and talk about your teachers. You've got the highest number of teachers that have qualified for the teacher incentive allotment, which for those that don't know what that is, that means that they have risen. They are the cream of the crop when it comes to teachers, and Texas is recognizing them, and they actually even get a little bit of bump in pay for being such a what is the word I'm looking for? They have to meet all sorts of criteria to get this.
Yes.
So that's a huge thing for your campus.
Yes, we have phenomenal teachers at Raymie. We look at data weekly, and they look at it daily. But we get together weekly in our professional learning communities. We analyze data. We talk about what are our next steps. What do we need to do to support? How we have intervention built into our master schedule, and we have an intervention teacher for both reading and math, and so we pull small groups, and we're all on board they're our kids, so we don't say well, in your class. No, it's our kids.
Yes. Yeah, it's strategy.
Absolutely.
And implementing different strategies along the way, and not waiting until the end of the semester or the end of the 9 weeks or the end of the year to be like, wait a second, how did we miss this? I love that, because y'all are really staying on top of that. The other thing too is that y'all have got some support from the community. Let's talk a little bit about that. You've got some great partners. What's going on?
So Grace Community Church is our church partner, and they're just phenomenal. They call all the time, probably weekly, what do you need? What can we give you? When we might say we're running low on clothes in the nurse's station, and the next day we have bags of clothes.
That's wonderful.
They write our students motivational letters, 3rd through 5th grade, for benchmarks and state testing. And so every kid has a note to open before a test and just says we believe in you. Things like that. They're just phenomenal. They've donated different things for families, and they're just truly a blessing. They've done prayer walks on our campus after hours,
Yeah, that's so neat. I love it. I love to see where they're able to come in, and the note writing. I love that. The personalized notes, that really pulls at my heartstrings for sure.
And the kids love it.
My gosh.
They're just beaming.
Yes, and they don't even know the person.
Nope.
They're it's like getting mail, It's oh my gosh, we don't do that anymore. We just send a text. It's we need to start sending more letters.
They also partner with our teachers. So our teachers have secret partners, basically, where they get the list of favorites, and just when you need it, the teacher receives a note of encouragement or a little favorite list and
something.
Yeah.
So it's a secret Santa, but year
round.
I like this. I'm gonna have to implement that somewhere.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's great. Well, tell us. I did want to make sure that we mentioned about your accelerated reading initiatives.
Yeah. So our MTS is amazing. And so she really wanted to focus on, reading and the love of reading. And so she has created a lot of different prizes and incentives. That's the word.
Yes,
a lot of incentives. And our first one was the literacy bus. So the kids who met their target, we brought out the literacy bus and they got to get on it and get a free book. And that was such a hit that the next 9 weeks, it more than doubled.
Oh my goodness.
And so then they made snowballs. We had a snowball fight. And
I love it.
They loved it. And so she's
how
doing a
fun.
phenomenal job, and our kids are reading, and it's just, and at parent night, as a matter of fact, I had a parent say, like, we notice the difference, like, with reading that y'all are pushing. And so that was really cool.
That's amazing. It's so wonderful to hear all of these positive developments that you have going on at Ramey. For those that are listening to this podcast, what is it that you would like to share about Ramey, or for them to remember from our conversations that you think they should know about, especially if they don't even know about Ramey at all?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is that we strive to make it a campus that anyone would want their child to go to. So a question we ask ourselves a lot is this good enough for your kid? And we ask ourselves that as a staff. And if we can't answer yes, then we have to shift and make a difference. And so, like I said, we have a lot of faculty and staff that have students in the school and have students around Tyler ISD. And so we are big on the whole child, and is this the environment that we would want our kid in? And it is. Yeah,
because you are talking about raising the bar and rise to the top, and y'all are doing that, it seems like, in all sorts of different areas across the way.
Absolutely.
Angelica Brown, new principal at Ramey Elementary School, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of our podcast for Talks with Tyler ISD. If you would like to know more about all things Tyler ISD, please download our app, or you can always sign up for our district newsletter at get.tylerisd.news. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Texas Bank and Trust. Subscribe to Talks with Tyler ISD on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Please share this episode with your friends and family.